Something shapes people. It's the world in which they act. It makes their experience. It furnishes the economic background that he grows up in, and the folkways and the stories that come down to him and his family. It's the fountainhead of his knowledge and experience. One of the reasons Southerners have this to talk about is they don't have much else to talk about. It's their source of entertainment besides their source of knowledge. You've got the family tales while away a long winter evening, and that's what they have to draw on, especially in the little hamlets where people sit on the store porch and talk in the evenings. All they have to talk about is each other and what they've seen during the day and what happened to so-and-so, and also encourages our sense of exaggeration in the comic, I think, because tales get taller as they go on. It is a pleasure and an entertainment, but it's also something of deep significance to people. In a way, I think Southerners care about each other, about human beings, in a more accessible way than some other peoples. We can reach our feelings more easily. I was 20, in my early 20s, and so I began taking pictures not in connection with my job, but for my own gratification on the side. I was not the photographer of the WPA. I was a journalist, wrote up things for the newspapers. So I just took the pictures because I wanted to, just impulse. I was not trained and had no very good camera. But for that reason, I think they may constitute a record, since I had no position. I was trying to justify nothing. I wanted to illustrate. They would pictures because I would see something I thought was self-explanatory of the life I saw. An editor a long time ago told me, don't ever have the moon in the wrong part of the sky. And that's important. And I notice when I read other people's works, often a man will have something blooming at the wrong time because he never has been out in the garden. He doesn't think it matters. He just names some flowers. Well, that destroys something for me when I read it. And I try not to make these mistakes. You can't always know that you've made a mistake. But I do believe in accident. And not only that, but I just am a natural observer. And to me, the detail tells everything. One detail can tell more than any descriptive passage in general, Well, this story is called Why I Live at the P.O. Mainly it was an exercise in using the spoken word to tell a story. The table was turning Papa Daddy against me. Papa Daddy, she says. He was trying to cut up his meat. Papa Daddy, I was taken completely by surprise. Papa Daddy's about 1,000,000 years old and's got this long, long beard. Papa Daddy, Sister says she fails to understand why you don't cut off your beard. So Papa Daddy lays down his knife and fork. He's real rich. Mama says he is. He says he isn't. So he says, have I heard correctly? You don't understand why I don't cut off my beard? Why, I says, Papa Daddy, of course I understand. I did not say any such of a thing. The idea. He says, Huzzy. I says, Papa Daddy, you know I wouldn't anymore want you to cut off your beard than the man in the moon. It was the farthest thing from my mind. Stella Rondo sat there and made that up while she was eating breast of chicken. But he says, so the postmistress fails to understand why I don't cut off my beard, which job I got you through my influence with the government. Bird's nest, is that what you call it? Not that it isn't the next to smallest P.O. in the entire state of Mississippi. I says, oh, Papa, Daddy, I says, I didn't say any such a thing. I never dreamed it was a bird's nest. I've always been grateful, though this is the next smallest P.O. in the state of Mississippi. And I do not enjoy being referred to as a hussy by my own grandfather. Estella Rondo says, yes, you did say it, too. Anybody in the world could have heard you that had ears. Stop right there, says Mama, looking at me. So I pulled my napkin right straight back through the napkin ring and left the table.
My name is Pecolia Warner. I was a Jackson before I married. And I was born out in Rose Hill from Bentonia, Mississippi. I can remember I used to go to the field, hoe, pick cotton, also and plow. And I would come out the field, milk 5 head of cows, and cook. Then clean up the house. Be ready to go back to the field at 1 o'clock. First quilt I made was spider leg out of strings, like your finger. Now pieces up just as long as this quilt is. Just one little piece, and then I just kept on until I got about 12 of them legs. And when I got those leg pieces, my mother showed me how to put it together. She just got some strips and stripped it. And after she got it stripped and everything, then she quilted out for me. Showed me how to quilt. And now with sewing, if I make a long stitch, she'd pull it out and come back. She said, now you learn how to quilt on your own quilt. One I pieced by myself, one I had to help quilt. And if I didn't do it right, she'd pull it out and make me do it again. She said, if you're going to do anything, do it right. They used to give quilting. They have 4 frames. They would wheat the cotton. They'd pull some out and put it in the floor and have them a switch. They'd whoop that cotton. That's beating the cotton out. And when they get it thin, then they would pad the quilt. And they would roll that quilt, just like on a frame, just like I got these on the frame. And they'd swing them in the top of the house. They had 4 ropes. They would swing them on the top of the house. And those women would get around these quilts, enough to quilt it out. They wouldn't be over 3 hours quilting out a quilt. It would be about 7 or 8 women around one quilt. And they would soon get their quilt out. They'd put up another one. While they're sitting there, they get to talking about religion and talking about the Bible and all this and that, and they'd get happy and come up some crying. I'm laying up under the table watching them. I said, now if they get happy and shout, I don't want them to stomp me. Mama would go to their houses. They're like my auntie and my cousin. They all lived around. We was in the country. The houses wasn't far apart. Mama would go there then and help them put up quilts. She would help them to quilt. To go from first one house to the other one quilting. I'm a little girl, I'm following them. Because I want to learn how to do that. I say, if ever I get grown, so I'm going to quilt myself. They said, it's fun. I thought it was fun, seeing them doing it. They knew it was hard work as it is. But that's hard work. Piecing, putting them together and quilting them. It's hard work. But I love it.
Well, we know how to work together because, for instance, if it's her quilt now, and she quilting, if she spaced her rows, just how wide she spaced her rows, I try to get my rows, to look like hers, so
That's
the quilt
right.
won't look any different.
That's right.
See, this is what if she wants a smaller row, if she wants a larger row, if she decide, I decide to. I quilt the way she quilted, so it'll look alike. I try to get my colors to harmonize. Don't put 2 flashy colors right together.
No.
If I have a dark color here, I try to have a lighter one there.
That's right.
And alternate it. So it'll show up better. Don't make that 2 colors clash together. I try to make it that way so they're harmonized. Some people if you take 2 dark colors and then another row of dark colors, that won't show up. You have to alternate it so it'll be a light color, a dark, and probably a medium and like that. Can't put the two things together.
I like red and light
Oh,
together.
you like red.
I either red and blue,
You like red.
red and green. I love all of that.
I like all colors.
You know how long that is. Now, if you think you couldn't cut it, get you a pencil and mark it. See? Ain't that it? That's the way you do it. All right, now that's 4 and you need 4 more. See? That'll be the center. I'll start on some more this week. Piecing them up.
That's one big star.
Always do something. And you'll stay super. I'm 73 years old. If I live to see the 9th of March, I'll be 74. No nothing but piece quilt.
And just get them solid pieces and fill it out.
Catfish capital of the world. In the heart of the Mississippi Delta, this is WELZ in Belzona, Mississippi.
Hello? Yes. Pants are ready. Thank you. Bye-bye. Pants are ready, Davy. All right. Oh, those are $2.50 to begin. I don't think there's another store like mine in the wide world. See, that's it's been there so long until it barely keeps itself. People have traded there so long. Some of them have traded there 50 years. When I was a little girl, if I was naughty, maybe, making too much noise inside, you know, like little girls will, Mama would say, now get you, come and sew a little bit. You know, you must sew. You must sit down and be quiet, and here's the needle and thread. And so I thought it was great fun. She'd say, we'll make our little cave, or we'll make our little dog. And so she would say, draw a picture there yourself of it. It'll be cute, you know. And so it was fun. I think I learned to love little things like that when I was maybe 10 years old. My husband passed away about 10 years ago. He come to this country in 1911. He was just a young boy, 16 or so. Got a little suitcase full of merchandise, you know, maybe watches or jewelry. But he would go around to the houses and sell this merchandise. In a couple of years, he got a buggy and horse. That was about 1914. And then in 1922, now he had saved enough money. Now this was no little thing he did. By 1922, he had saved enough money to buy the store and furnish it and go into business. In 1924, we married. My husband would tell the children stories, say, take one stick and see how easily one stick breaks. And now take the 8 sticks together, and nobody could break them. He said if a family sticks together, they could never break. My pictures are just mostly from little memories, things that happened when the kids was little that I thought was just darling, cute things. More like a family album. Just, well, when you think of one cute thing, then you'll think of something else, and my pictures are just from little memories. I want to get on to the grandchildren. I want to make a few more of my own children, or several more, and then I want to get on to things for my grandchildren, like the Easter egg hunts. And one of my little grandsons got lost once. I want to make one of that. And it stayed lost a while, you know. Here in town, but still, we all were so afraid, you know. And just lots of little things I want to make a picture of. I never worry about my color. I just pick up anything that I might want to work with.
Like my birds, you see, they're funny colors. I just use just what I want to use. Because you never see a bird that color, do you? But that one's that color. I wanted this to be a purple martin. And this is a bluebird. Now his legs are too long, but I'm not going to take him out. He was just born with long legs. I don't know what kind you call that one. A red bird, I guess. He's mixed with a yellow and red bird. This is blackbirds down here. And you see, if you feel lonesome and embroidery, you can't think of it yourself. You have to think of this tree. You have to think of the things you're making. You don't have time to be lonesome. You don't have time for anything but to think about that. So that's why it's wonderful, the embroidery.
It was the trees along the highways that helped inspire me to begin painting. I wanted to paint and put all the beautiful colored trees on my canvas. I think I inherited that. My daddy loved his trees, and I loved the trees around my old home place out in the country. I'd go off and teach school and come back. Those trees were still the same as long as we lived there. Of course, now we've been away 30 years, and they have slayed. That's what I call it. Most all of those trees that I admired so much. I don't like to go back out there. Well, I grew up on the farm. I didn't know anything else but the farm until I was 16 or 17. We had the big old barn, feed house, cows to milk. When I was 11 years old, I began hoeing. Of course, Hubert was 13, and he did the plowing, made the first little crop. And I kept that up until I began, till I finished high school, and then began teaching. In teaching the little fellas in the primary grades, I learned to love children. I had never been around little fellas too much. I dreamed a dream. A bunch of children came running up, and it was a weekday. I went out on the porch and asked those children why they were not at school. And they said they didn't have any teacher. And I told them, well, I can teach you. So in the last scene of the dream, I was out in the schoolyard with those children playing games. Well, now, I didn't take the hint right then that was telling me to paint children's games. But about 2 years later, I'd run out of subject matter to paint. So something within me told me to paint Drop the Handkerchief, and I did. And oh, what a thrill of joy I had. So when you have one good thrill of joy, you're going to want to have another one. I bought this house in September of 1939, made it into an apartment house. It dawned on me that when I was renting rooms, I wasn't doing what a higher power wanted me to do. A higher power wanted me to fill those rooms with paintings. I wonder if a man would confess all the visions that I have had. And there are people who call my visions weird, but to to me, they are very real and very true to life. My brother had a heart attack in 1971. They called and told me about 8:30 that he was better. He had been better all day. Well, I couldn't believe it. I just walked these 4 rooms, walked and walked. And one time when I got into that northeast room, we had some tables sitting, work tables sitting in the middle of the room that time, and those tables disappeared. I didn't see them. But Hubert came in, I went in at the west door and he went in at the south door. And this painting that I have painting is what I saw. Well, when I saw it, I knew he was gone. And I began to cry, went and sat down on the bed. I don't know how long I sat there, but between 10 and 11 o'clock, the phone rang again. And she said he was gone. Well, I was here by myself. So I began to call the relatives and tell. And after the funeral and all, several weeks later, I painted this painting because that is what I saw when he entered the room. Those eyes, the rays of light. Oh, how his eyes did shine with joy and glory. That's all.